Okay, welcome everyone to this Sunday School webinar with the title, Your Mental Attitude. We had such great response to a webinar that we did that was parts of this similar to what we're going to do today. So that's why some of you will notice that some of the stuff is repetition. But anyway, repetition is the mother of skill, so who cares? I welcome everyone. If you're new, you know that we have these webinars for your sake so that you can build your business, develop yourself and your team. But your team will not be more developed than you. So that's why you need to start with your own personal development if you haven't started yet. So now it's the time. And it's hard work. You know, some people, they have the mindset of that free stuff is good. There's no such thing as free stuff. And if you have been with me for a while, you know what I'm talking about. We talk a lot about principles. Why do we talk about principles? Well, that is because principles never change. People change, countries change, economics change. You know, everything is in a constant change. And that is what's actually what most people are most afraid of, change. But the principles, they always stay the same. That's why when you get hold of the principles, you know, the laws of the universe, the laws of success, there's many of them. They're the same today, yesterday, and tomorrow. So they will never change. When you get hold of them and when you practice those principles in all your affairs, then things will start to change. And you heard me say this, and it's so true that being rich is not a bank account. You can have a lot of money and you're so poor in your mindset or in your soul. So that's why we do this on Sunday School. We talk a lot about this so we all can develop ourselves and become better. So the main purpose of being at these webinars, no one is forced to be here. And I know we're several thousand listening to these webinars, and I spoke to leaders, and a lot of them came up to me and said that they really like these webinars and that there's a lot of help for them to build a business and to help other people to grow. And it's comforting. It's gladdens me. You know, I really thank you guys for telling me that, because you don't get a respond out of sitting at the webinar because it's a one-way communication. Anyway, so the purpose of us being here is for you to start developing yourself and create a culture of leadership where people understand that these principles are the most important things. So the purpose is for you to develop yourself and to create a culture. And you know, in this industry, direct sales, we talk a lot about duplication. So whatever you do, your organization will do. Never forget it. There's no way around it. If you start hassling around, you start doing bad stuff will happen in your organization. That's the way it goes. And if everyone in one organization believes in free stuff, you know, that organization will not last, because there are no such thing. To get something for nothing, there are no such thing. You always got to put something in to get something out. And so let's start with this. So the purpose, that's to be here for you to develop yourself and to help your team. And further on in this webinar, we will go through, how to help your team, what to do, what to focus on. I love these statements. That's why I put it in. It's actually from Napoleon Hill, the great author. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So your mind is your biggest asset, but it could also be your biggest enemy, because it's everything that happens in your life. Not everything that happens, that's the wrong way to tell, but let's say this: your results in your life, not everything that happens, because things happen, like bad things happen to good people. There's no doubt about that. You can have protection, but that's another webinar. That's not here today. But whatever you have today and whatever you are missing, it's a product of your thinking up until today. So your mind, your mind is where it happens. That's what we talk a lot about, mindset. What is your mindset up on? And your success in business, in life, is a result of your decisions. And where do you make your decisions? Well, you do it in your mind. We have a conscious and a subconscious. We'll talk a little about that later. But so also failure in life is a result of your decisions. So if people fail, they can't blame anyone else than themselves. That's the beautiful thing about life. I'm not saying 100%, of course, in all cases, because like I said, things happen. Bad things happen to good people. But still, 80% of the stuff we are involved in. My mentor always said, when bad things happen, who was always on the crime scene? He was me. He was, pointing toward me, of course. So everyone becomes exactly what they decide to be. You make a decision, you look that word up, see what it means. A decision. You got to make a decision. You made a decision to start something, you made a decision to finish something, or you make a decision to whatever, it's your decisions. And that is what your mind is filled up with. Okay? So these are a couple of things that successful people are spending their time, because when you look at successful people and non-successful people, you can clearly see a difference, how they spend their time. Winners spend a lot of time doing these things. And this is just a couple of things. You can probably make the list a lot longer, but I just made a couple of examples. What you should focus on and what your team should focus on, what the people that you're helping should focus on. Successful people, they have goals. They have written down goals. And not only, if they want a material thing, like let's say they want a car, you can't write, I want a better car, because that's not a goal. That's just something wishy-washy that your mind can conceive. You got to be clear, You got to have a statement, you got to have a deadline, and you're going to tell exactly what you want. So when you write your goals down, you got to be precise. But successful people, they have goals. They also educated themselves. You know, they are listening to other successful people or people who know about these principles, and people write books and you know, but never forget it. Never take advice from someone who can't take you to the next level, because there's a lot of those people out there. They have huge egos and they haven't done anything, but they play a role that like they know everything. And that's also, you know, part of life, to actually see, learning to see who's who. Anyway, successful people, they have goals, they educate themselves, they have a positive attitude. It does not mean that they are always happy and singing a song through life. It just means that they know that a negative attitude cannot help them. So whatever happens, you got to have an attitude of, okay, what can I do about this? What did I learn from this? Or, how can this situation change? What can I do to be a problem solver? Okay. So positive attitude is being a problem solver. Successful people take action. They don't feel their way into a new action. They act themselves into a new feeling, which is way better. So, that saying, not that I like that company or promoter or whatever, I don't dislike it either, but I'm just saying there's a company who have a mission statement. They say, just do it. And it's so true, because when you do stuff happens. When you're doing nothing happens. And when you do stuff, you are actually putting something in action. So you're actually doing something will move you or the situation into a new situation, and then you make a new decision. Successful people also accept mentorship. They have someone that know more than them, and they listen to that person, and they serve others. This is probably not talked about a lot, but I'm telling you, when you look through a category list of people, and you see that the most successful people, and I'm not talking about people who just short-term success. I'm talking about long-term success. They always are looking out to help other people first, because they know Zig Ziglar's old saying, if you help enough people to get what they want, you will get what you want. But you got to help them first. And I know this industry and many others industry, there's a lot of people, they only focus about themselves. They think it's about them all the time, but it's not. And they had to learn it. Everyone had to find out for themselves. Everybody had to go through hardship and turmoil and failures, and until some of them learned that, wow, I did this wrong. I had a wrong attitude about things, or I was only thinking about myself. Anyway, so we will use a term in this webinar which we call MA, and that is mental attitude, your mental attitude when you're building this business. So look out for the term MA, mental attitude. So now I will come into a couple of things that we got great response when we did this. So I go through this, and these are the effect, cause and effect. There's always a cause and then an effect. These are the riches, the effect that you will get of taking control of your own mind. Because a lot of us don't understand that someone else has been controlling our mind or is still controlling our mind. We're not in total control. And you go like, what? What are you saying? I don't understand. Well, let's put it this way. We all got born to this planet, okay? We came with nothing. And we'll leave with nothing. But in between, I think, this is my personal view, that the purpose is to be here and to grow and to learn stuff and to follow those principles as the best of my ability. But we all have people that we were surrounding ourselves with, I mean, we didn't, maybe we did, I don't know, but when we first was kids, we had our parents or the folks we grew up with. Those were the first people that put stuff inside our mind, the way we should think about things. And listen, there's something that science says that up till you're 4 years old, you will learn about 65% of what you should think about things. So your subconscious mind will be programmed 65% up until 4 years old. Then they say up until 8 to 10 years old, the rest is programmed. So you're actually being programmed. That's why, we behave in a certain way, we think in a certain way, and then all of a sudden we meet someone or something happens in our life and we realize that, wow, I need to change because the way I'm thinking right now will not take me where I want to be, or I don't like this situation, or I don't like these people that I'm around, or I don't like whatever. Because usually something happens in life, there's a shortage, or there's a situation, it's a crisis. Something happens because most people, they don't want to change when everything is good. Most people don't want to change when things are going great, because then they think that they're superstars and everything, they're the best and everything is going until the crisis occur, and then some of them will ask for help and say, hey, I screwed up, can you help me? Anyway, so we're programmed to think in a certain way. We're programmed to think in a certain way about money. We're programmed to think in a certain way about how to treat people. We're programmed to think in a certain way of, and so on. So everything that we do, our habits first create, our thinking creates our habits, and then our habits are creating us. So that's also a good lesson. Write that down. So it's all about, that's why I have this slide, the riches you may enjoy of taking control of your own mind. Don't let the news or the media or someone on the internet, on social media, or someone else controlling your mind, because then you will be lost. You gotta go back to the principles, and you gotta find the people who are talking about these principles. It's written down. Those principles actually written down. One principle is, do not be conformed to this world, but for the renewing of your mind. Wow. So the purpose is to renew our mind. So these are some good stuff that will happen when you take control of your own mind. And what do I mean by that? You will see later here what I mean, but you probably have figured it out a little bit. So what you will get of taking control of your own mind, your health will be better. So all of a sudden you realize that what you eat and what you drink and what you're not drinking, what you're not eating, or if you are taking supplements, or you understand that today's food is so processed that you need some extra source of vitamins. This was like mystery for maybe 15, 20 years back. People go, I don't need that, I don't need this. But today it's just a basic knowledge, because the food that we're eating is traveling half around the world. It's processed and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I won't go into that because that's another webinar. But to take control of your own mind, you are deciding. So for instance, someone say, hey, you want to go and have a couple of beers, if you drink beers, and then you make the decision. You said, no, I don't want to drink any beers today because it's not super healthy, or I'm going to go into the gym instead. Oh, that is a perfect example of taking control of your own mind. You are in control. You don't let someone else control what you're going to do or your decisions. And it was just an example. I'm not against drinking beer. You can drink whatever you want to do, but it was just an example. So sound health, peace of mind. When you take control of your own mind, you will have peace of mind. You know what? That is actually what everybody is looking for. We think we are looking for, success in material things, but they did a science investigation thoroughly, and they came to the conclusion what everyone is looking for is actually serenity, peace of mind. And you cannot have peace of mind if you're not in control of your thinking. Someone else is controlling your thinking. Like fearful thinking is not peace of mind. So number 3 is freedom from fear and worries. Number 4, you choose your labor. You choose your business. Listen, 95% of the population on this earth have not made a choice where they are going to work. Do you get that? They're not in control of their own mind. So they always will work for someone else or someone else's dream. But when you take control of your own mind, you can choose your business, your labor, whatever you want to do. You will get a positive mental attitude. This is what we're talking about, MA, taking control of your own mind. And you will get material riches. You will. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. Those are a couple of things that you will gain from your positive mental attitude, taking control of your own thinking. Listen to this, by making a choice to be on this webinar, you made a choice to control your thinking, because when you're listening to me, you will get something out of it, and you will program yourself with some good stuff. And some of it will slip in, and when you know how to reprogram your subconscious, it's through repetition and emotional involvement. That's why it's so important to have a positive mental attitude when you're listening to stuff. When you have energy. When you're listening to something, you can't go like, doing something else or cooking food and listening with a half ear. You got to be focused, because then you will. There will be a better chance of reprogramming yourself if you are emotionally involved. So these are the penalties of not taking control of your own mind. Bad health, fear and worry, indecision and doubt. You can look at people who are, doubtful, they don't really know. You ask them, do you want to join the business? They go like, I don't know. No, yeah, their indecisiveness will create more doubt and worry. So indecision is something that comes as a product of not taking control of your own mind. Frustration, discourage, poverty, envy, greed, jealousy, and superstition. That most people, I see a lot of people, they think they're a businessman or a businesswoman, but they are so superstitious. Superstition is not a good thing. You should pray like it's all up to God, and you should work like it's all up to you. And if you don't like the word God, I'm sorry, but it was just an example to show the difference of superstition and not superstition. So you are in control, okay? And envy, greed, and jealousy are not good things to carry around. It will create poverty and frustration, discourage, and fear, and all those things. Okay, so back to some good stuff. Okay, so how can we change our thinking? How can we start controlling our mind? Well, I already gave you a couple of ideas already through this webinar, but listen, I will give you a couple more. Okay, hang on. Are you with me now? The system that you are working in. If you don't have a system, you can choose this one I'm showing you now, or you can just follow the system where the leader you're working with or the people you're working with are using. But this is a great one, okay? And I always stress education. Why do I stress? Because education is the foundation for all success. Maybe we spend only 15% of our time educating ourselves at events, at webinars, reading books, listening to stuff. Maybe only 15%. But listen, it's a lot more you get out of it. You will get a lot more out of than the 15%. Actually, the education is the foundation of all things. I will just show this real quick, so you know, and if you've been around, you know for sure. But why do I show this? Well, the question was, how do I change and start to control my own thinking, my positive mental attitude? Well, you do that through the system. You're helping people go through the system. When you're taking someone's hand and say, hey, I will help you, follow me, and you show them, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, you are walking with them in the system. You're on the webinars with them. When they have the first look, you are there at the webinar when they have their first business presentation. You are with them when they are at the first Sunday school, or they are attending some educational stuff, at their first event, for instance. But these are the leadership skills that you need. You need to make people do these things, not by forcing them, because that will not work in the long term, but by having them understand that when they set goals and they know that there's a way out, from the situation they're in, and through this system, they will start changing the way they think. When they go through the system, they will definitely be a changed person. But it's not doing it once. You do it all the time, again and again and again. Repetition. Because the only way to change is through self-discipline. So sometimes you don't want to do it. You don't want to have a presentation. You don't want to be at the webinar. You don't want to be at this Sunday school. You don't want to. You don't like it. You don't have time. But you do it anyway, because that's what successful people do. And when you're getting off this webinar today, you will feel way better than when we started. I promise you. Because you have so much good stuff inside your mind. You have so much to think about. You get ideas and, wow, I'm going to do this for my team, and I'm going to start now, and I'm going to do, that's the way it goes. And these laws, these principles make life predictable. So I can look at a person and I can say, tell me your week. And that person will tell, me his or her week. And I can say, yep, you're on the right track. You will be successful if you keep this up. And I can say, nope, you're not going to be successful. Because laws, these principles, make life predictable. If people are trying to take shortcuts, or they're trying to scam their way through, or they're trying to do this or that, so no, it will not work. Success is not a pursuit. We don't have to chase success down the road. We just have to change, and success will come changing you. And success is a result of obedience to laws. Just a couple of things why laws and principles, these principles in all our affairs, the power of laws, the power of principles, they are universal. So in this universe, universe comes from una, which means one. Universe. So this, maybe there's another universe, but this is not this universe, it's another universe. But in this universe, these laws works everywhere. They are permanent. They work anywhere. So some people go like, well, in my country, people are like this, and we have this kind of way of doing things. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because it doesn't matter what country you're in. Doesn't matter where you are, where you were born. What matters is what I'm talking about right here, right now. These things matters. If you get hold of these things, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you from being successful. It doesn't matter if you're on the hilltop in Nigeria, or you're in Nepal hanging in a tree trying to catch the moon. I don't know. Doesn't matter, because these laws work anywhere and everywhere, and they guarantee success. But listen, they can never be broken, because in every law there is a judgment. So it's actually not other people that are putting, well, it could be in some cases, but I mean, most of the time we are doing it to ourselves. Yeah. So there's a built-in judgment for people who are breaking laws. And I'm not talking about your country's laws or the laws that your government put up, because those are not even laws. That's just a control system to control you. Of course, we need some rules, stuff, but you know what I'm talking about. Bob Hope, he put it so well. Bob Hope was an actor, and he said, we got 10 of these principles that we wrote into 40 million laws in a law book. Isn't that pretty stupid? So you have 10. If you follow those 10, everything will work fine. But you have to rewrite them so it turns into 40 million laws. Okay, that was just a bonus thing. Anyway, natural laws and supernatural laws. Listen, it's inherent in creation. These laws establish natural order, regulates natural relationships, and cannot be changed. What is this? I hope you guys don't see this. I don't know what it is. Something came up. Hold on. Two seconds. There we go. So these principles cannot be changed. There are built-in consequences. Like I said on the previous slide. So the consequences that we experience are for breaking the laws. Wow. This is powerful stuff. So here we are, where we can get this formula. If you follow this formula, you will be successful. And if you understand the beauty with this, it's not complicated, but it maybe that you doesn't get it the first time. Maybe you have to listen to it. That's why we do this. We repeat stuff because it doesn't matter. You don't get it. Listen one time. You got to hear it again and again and again and again. So this formula is the Q plus the Q plus your MA. That's what we've been talking about right now, your mental attitude. That is success. So the first Q, that is the quality of your service. So when you do presentations or when you involve people, you just sign them up and then just, that was a little bit commission for me? Or are you serious about helping them? Are you serious about teaching them? Of course you can't help someone who doesn't want to get helped. But I'm talking about, are you serious? Are your service, is it quality? Do you bring them here to Sunday school? Do you help them understand that it's a long-term thing? Do you help them to understand that they are now involved in a business, and in business, there's risk. Do you tell them that they have to plan 3 years down the road? Because nothing will happen in a short term. Well, it could happen. People could make money in a short term, but it's not sustainable. Doesn't matter. They will lose it all if they don't change the way they think. Because like Jim Rohn says, it's so true. If you make $1 million, you better become a millionaire fast. Otherwise, you will lose it. Write that down. So the quality of your service is the first Q. The second Q is the quantity of your service. Wow. So the quality, how good are you in doing this business? How serious are you? How much do you educate yourself? And the way you educate yourself, that's how your team will educate themselves. So if you do nothing, they will do nothing. If you do a lot, some of them will do a lot. And that's the purpose of this. Then that's the quality. Then the quantity. So how often? It's a numbers game. Some people, they are lazy, so they think they see a compensation plan and they go like, oh, I only have to do 2 things: sign 1 or 2 people up. wrong, because that's not how it works in business. You don't have 2 customers and then you have $1 million in the bank. You have to keep recruiting, because some people, they choose to do something else, and some people get bored, and some people get sad, and some people get, whatever, stuff happens. So it's a numbers game. You have to keep on. You have to keep on doing this. That's the quantity of your service. But the quantity is a lot of other things, of course, except for recruiting. The quantity is, how often do you attend webinars like this? How often do you have your own webinars? How often? How much? It's a numbers game. So you can ask yourself the question: how much? How much what? Everything. Everything. How many books do you read? How much? It's a numbers game. So that's the second cue. So we have the quality of your service, we have the quantity of your service, and we have your mental attitude. And that is success. When you put the Q plus the Q plus the MA, it's success. And remember that 95% of your decisions is made in your subconscious mind. Therefore, you need to change your subconscious mind. And now we're back where we started a little bit earlier in this webinar, that we are a product. We get born, we surround ourselves, or actually there are people around us when we are little, there are our teachers and our parents and, our friends, of course, and we start to picking up things, and we become like the people we surround ourselves with. And then at one point in life, we will go like, what? Is this it? Was this is it? This what I came for? And some people, they'll go, no, this can't be it. It's got to be more. It's got to be something more out there, Or a situation will force them into change. Anyway, so that's why you understand it's so important to be on these webinars, because we need to start changing how we think. And the system will change your thinking. It will. Okay. This slide should not have been here, but it doesn't matter. We go through it real quick here. So the system, it's the way we do the business, but it's also helping us to help others. And listen, the biggest thing with helping others is that you're helping yourself, because you are learning more when you help people to become more. And I love this, because it's one of my favorite sayings. And that is, you were not born to make a living. You were born to make a difference in people's lives, in your life. First in your life, because you can't give what you don't have. And then when you change, you go out in the world and you will change them. And the longest way to success is a shortcut. That's why we need to go the extra mile. We need to really put effort into things if we want it to happen. We need to be humble. We need to get rid of our own ego and starting to help other people. It's the biggest thing of them all. And if you do that, the best of your life will be the rest of your life, because you're not who you think you are. You are who you think you are. Thank you, guys. I hope you had a marvelous 30, 40 minutes with me, and I'll see you next Sunday. And be prosperous, happy, joyous, and free. And most of all, free. And I will see you at the top. Thank you.